This is the second small group discussion with J. Krishnamurti in Rome, 1972.
As we were saying the other morning, the house is on fire. The world is on fire. And apparently, most of us are not really have deep intention to put the fire out, both economically, socially, religiously, and personally. There is so much disorder. The rich and the poor, the wars, the brutality, and so on, which is that the house in which we live is a fire. I think most of us agree to that, right? Can we go on from there? And we are concerned, at least if we are at all serious, with putting out that fire. And we are responsible for it. And to bring about a radical revolution, not a physical revolution, because that doesn't produce any change at all, only it modifies. Either bureaucracy gets very strong, or a new dictatorship, and so on, so on, so on. Though in China, I have met many friends who have been there, spent many years. There are certain aspects of it that have considerable advancement. The other aspects are rather frightening also, where they are all conditioned, at least what I have been told and what I read, and so on. So I personally feel that the house is on fire. And there must be new kind of order which is born out of the comprehension of what is really disorder. In our life, there is very little love. So we can discuss that. And perhaps that may be the radical revolution. Because we want to change things out there, socially, economically, bring about a different economic organization or social setup or social structure. And many think that revolution, physical revolution, is necessary. I don't know what you think. That's up to you. Physical revolution is necessary. At least that's what they say. But also you can see what happens when there is complete physical revolution. Historically, and you can observe it in daily life all around you. So we didn't go into that. But there must be a radical revolution psychologically, because from what you are, you affect the world. There is no question about it. You can play with words of revolution and social change and economic equality and so on, but inwardly, what you are, you project. This also, psychologically and objectively, is so. And it may be the central factor in life, in living, in relationship being between each other, you and me and my wife and children and my neighbor, with the world, near and far. That there is no love. Right? So can we discuss that for the moment, or this morning, and go into it fairly thoroughly and see where it leads us? Whether such a revolution, a psychological revolution, can set the world in order. Because to me, I must emphasize this very clearly, that psychological revolution is far more important than the physical revolution. I know I've repeated this ad nauseam, but apparently that has, still there are people who come and listen, say there must be change there in the economic world, social world, and all the rest of it. But who is to change it? There, out there. You, or you leave it to the corrupt politician? Obviously you. If you are corrupt in the sense you may not take a bribe, you may not yield to economic pressures and so on, but inwardly there is disorder, you will inevitably project that disorder outwardly. I think that's logically, sanely true. So, what is one to do, actually, in a world that we live in? What is a human being like you and me to do? Because we have to act. We can't just theorize. At least, I feel, cannot possibly theorize when the house is on fire. Who put the house on fire? That would be a theory. But to put the fire out first is our concern. That's an act. Now, what is that act?
I think it's just because most people don't know where to start that we are here.
We start here.
We start here. That is where? Here?
Myself.
In the room? That's me. And how shall I, in relationship to the world, you understand, sir? How shall I, in relationship to the world that is so corrupt, so insane, what is my relationship to it? What shall I do? I'm asking you, sir, what shall I do? What will you do facing this thing? Will you start out there or out here, in here? Let's be very clear on that point. Otherwise, we'll keep always going back and forth. You follow?
Solely in here, always in here.
Why do you say always in here?
Because you cannot look for the outside. You cannot look on the outside to get a response, to get the answer. I mean, you cannot look.
Can you change the politician?
No.
Can you? You may change the present politician through vote.
Yes.
Go slowly, step by step. So, you say you start out here, in here, with me, with you. How do you start with you?
By beginning to ask the question.
I'm asking you.
To begin to pose the question of what it is that you come in relationship to, and to desire, and to pleasure,
Go on,
and to
sir.
violence.
What is it? How do I do? What do I do with myself in relation to all this?
I try to behave in a different way of what I see.
No.
In a different way? What does that mean?
Well, not by killing, nor by hurting people, nor by putting fire on houses, nor by corrupting people. I say, trying to do that. So to behave in an opposite way, in another way.
What is that way?
It's a way of friendship with people.
That's another way of projecting yourself again, I should think. I should think that only you can pose the question with yourself. And from there you begin your relationship with whatever is around you.
So aren't you interested really in finding out, when you say start with yourself, what to do with yourself?
What to do with myself?
Yes.
No. It's a goal.
Huh?
It's a goal. It's a projection.
No. I'm not talking of goals or perfection.
Well, if you say what I'm going to do with myself means to
No,
something
sir.
tomorrow.
Just listen. I don't mean that. What I mean is, I see what the world is, right, around me, of which I am a part. I am the world, and world is me. The two are not separate. I feel this. To me, this is a burning reality, not just beastly little words. And what's knowing that, what is my action? With regard to politics, economic, social, religious, relationship, you follow? What is my action in all this?
Rejection. If there's any action at all, then it's in rejection.
Is
in rejection.
Now, what do I reject?
My belief in them.
Now, wait, a little more goes. The belief, that's only superficial, the belief.
Yeah.
Shall I reject? I'm just asking you. Shall I reject the whole structure of thought which has produced this? Don't, sir, go slowly. The whole, I do not know if you've gone into this at all. If you have, forgive me if I repeat it. You are the product, West is the product of Greece, Grecian civilization, Grecian thought, Grecian mathematics and so on, Grecian culture, mixed with Judaism and so on, so on, so on. That is, the Greeks maintained, that's what I've been told by experts who know something of what they are talking about. We'll take it with a pinch of salt, that measurement was measuring. Mathematics is based on measurement. Thought is based on measurement. That all the technological world which the present civilization has developed is based on measurement. Right? Right? And the Orient, that's the India, which spread, exploded over the whole of Asia, said measurement is illusion. Listen to it, I'm not taking sides. They said it was illusion. And their word, ma, is to measure. Maya is illusion. And that's got other meanings which I won't. So, they said, West said measurement is essential for growth, culture, living. The others said measurement in any form is illusion. Because measurement, listen to it, measurement means time, from here to there, and time is the invention of thought. They don't say this, I'm telling you this. And one must reject all that to find out the immeasurable, which is not measurable. Just listen to it. But the ancient Indians employed thought to go beyond the measure. You get it? They said you must control it. You must subjugate it. You must discipline it. Concentrate. You follow? So you have these two movements in the world. One, establishing firmly measurement as a way of life. Measurement means, listen, comparison, imitation, conformity. And the whole structure of Western religious civilization is based on imitation, conformity, personal mythological worship, and so on, so on, so on. They said it's all wrong. And you must go beyond it, all beyond measure. Therefore, they said, control. To go beyond measurement, they use thought. You follow? I wonder if you understand this.
So it's the same thing.
That's just it. They started out, but it's the same movement. Now, what I want to get at is, it's terribly exciting, this, you don't know what it means. The whole movement of thought is this, right? And it is based on measurement, both sides. And I built up extraordinary structure, both technologically, psychologically, and philosophically, in the sense, philosophy is the love of truth, which is measureless, but they use the intellect to cultivate all kinds of theories about truth. They have built this enormous structure. And I am part of it, as you are. You're following all this? Right, sir? I'm just stating facts. It's not my opinion. And I'm part of that. The religion, the nationality, the economic environment, the social division as class, Brahman, and all that, I am the result of all that. Right? And I or you together have produced this world. If I want to change, I must reject totally everything. Reject all measurement. You understand what I'm telling you? Which is reject, please don't misunderstand, all the movement of thought completely. Because thought has produced this. The class divisions, the economic divisions, the religious divisions, the me and the you, we and they, the communists, the socialists, the Maos, you follow? The division is created by this measurement of thought. And I am the result of it. And if this mind is the result of it, and if that mind is to put the fire out, fire which has been created by measurement, by thought, the mind must reject the whole structure of thought. Yes, sir.
May I ask some questions?
Then, sir, don't even ask me, may you? This is a...
Who is the entity who has said that there is fire in the house?
Who is the entity that says there is fire in the house?
Isn't that mind too? Isn't
No,
that thoughtful?
of course, it's an observation. I see. When I put a pin into myself, it's pain. There isn't who observes the pain, it's pain. Carried over through the nerves to the brain cells and so on, which says pain.
But judging that the world is in fire, isn't that thought too?
No,
Yes,
it is an obvious fact.
Yes, you're not making a judgment.
No, it's not a judgment.
Judgment that fire is bad.
I
have a confusion in my own mind about this. I accept everything you've said, but the premise that the fire is in itself bad and I must put it out. Why must I put it out? Not perhaps just contain it because I happen to feel that the fire...
No, I don't. No,
Why
forgive.
must I put it out?
No, wait, sir, I'll show it to you. There is war going on. Middle East, Far East, and so on. So, war. Economic war, social wars, violence, and so on. That's a fact, isn't it? It's not a judgment.
But it is judgment.
Wait. I'm coming to one more. Just go step by step. I see, obviously, there is violence in different forms. Extreme form, in a minor form. And I have produced this. I'm responsible for this. What shall I do? Being responsible for violence, I must end it, mustn't it? Or do we accept violence as the way of life? Yes, sir.
May I suggest that even violence, to judge violence as a bad thing...
No. I did. Please forgive me. I did not judge it. I say, wait a minute, let's proceed further. I live in Vietnam, north or south. My son is killed. That's a fact. And I say, I must stop wars. Not only my son is killed, but I see what's happening around me. That's all. There is not a judgment. I don't want my son to be burnt by various, you or me. That's not a judgment.
I'm not saying that there is no fire. I'm just suggesting that the entity who says that there is fire in the world is also thought.
No, wait a minute. Is it? Or is it a verbal communication of a fact, which is the employment of thought, but the fact is not?
Could we discuss that?
Do you want to discuss that? Oh, it's terribly interesting if you're going to it. Because, please, sir, look at yourself, not me, not what I'm telling you, but look at it. The fact is, my son is killed. Either in New York by what's happening or in Vietnam. That's a fact. And I see other sons, brothers, wives, women killed. And I'm responsible for it. Right? Because I am the world. It's not just an idea. That's a fact to me. Burning fact. And I say, please, for God's sake, I must stop this. Is that a judgment? Or is it facing the fact, look, not forming a conclusion, but the fact tells me you have to do it. I don't know if you follow this. I have a toothache. Pain. Pain says, I can't stand the pain. So I go to the dentist, something or other. That's a fact.
I mean, always perhaps speaking more specifically of conflict. What we see is conflict.
Yes, we went into it the other day. Conflict, right?
No, but what he is speaking about, what he is unable to recognize, is that, I'm saying that the conflict exists. You can perceive that without
judgment.
Thought. You can
that's
see
right.
it.
You can see it. That's all I'm saying.
And leave it as a fact and not make a
You've
judgment.
been to India. You see starvation, poverty, degradation. That's a fact. And seeing it, you say, can I do anything? You don't say, well, I mustn't judge. I must do something about it. I've lived with, forget myself, with starvation. We know all about it. And do you mean I mustn't stop that?
Yes, I say I must stop that because I have been trained to say that. But
No.
prima facie, there is no real reason why I must stop
Oh,
that.
yes, sir.
There are reasons why I must. But
Compassion, ordinary compassion says, look.
Certainly, love and compassion, which is my whole internal nature. But
No.
there is no separate real reason.
No, I'm not. Look.
If I may, just a moment.
Yes, sir.
Take it away from Vietnam or the starvation of India, which are all things which are terribly emotionally impacted, and put it into just this conflict that we have now with my ideas, mistaken or otherwise, and your ideas, and we conflict. And from that conflict, I feel something will come. Something, as a matter of fact, positive will come. So the conflict's necessary and good.
Wait a minute, sir. What is conflict? A verbal statement is not a conflict. What is behind the verbal statement creates conflict. If I only deal with words and not the content, the emotional content behind it, there's no conflict. At least I won't come into the conflict. I simply say that there is what? Conflict, right? That's a fact. Can a mind that lives in conflict perpetually waste itself? That's a fact. Right?
But may I suggest that there have been theories in biology like Darwin who explain even our very being by this conflict, which selects always the best one of us. So on a certain point of view, this violence that we now judge as something bad could have, on another point of view, be considered as good.
Maybe.
You know?
Maybe. But I say my son has been killed and I want to stop your son being killed. That's all.
But this is a moral point of view.
Not a moral point. It's just a ordinary compassion. My God, what's the matter with you?
That's thought too.
It is compassion is not thought.
No, I think it's emotion.
It is not No, on the contrary, that's why I want to discuss with you what love is. Come?
Posso chiedere in italiano qualcosa?
Per favore, sì.
So che lei sa l'italiano. Lei ha parlato di rivoluzione fisica o economica. Vorrei sapere se lei ha parlato qualche volta al popolo, agli operai che fanno le rivoluzioni economiche. Mi sembra che lei abbia parlato, io ho assistito a molte sue conferenze, sempre in ambiente di gente colta.
Bene, sì.
Come invitare alla trasformazione spirituale la gente semplice del popolo, che non ha cultura?
Sir, just a minute. They won't listen to me. No, please.
Why? Why do you make this assumption?
No, it's true.
I have done it. I have done it. And they say, go and talk to the rich people. Now you don't see the inwardness of all this. So, I am not talking to the rich or to the poor, to the laborer or to the middle class who is comfortably sitting here. I am talking to the man who says, look, I want to find out. I want to see a different world. not ideologically, spiritually, factually. Because my son is dead, killed by you, or this or that. And it's you I'm talking to. If you don't want to listen, all right, I don't care. So let's come back. Apparently, from all our conversation from the world which is happening, we are intellectually so tremendously alive. And the rest of us is little dormant. And a person who is at all serious says things must change. And they cannot be changed by the intellect. Right? Though intellect is necessary, the intellect has its function, but that alone cannot change the world. Right? Intellect is the word, is thought, is the idea identified with emotion, is still for the intellect, which has its logical, sane function. And as that cannot solve it, what shall my mind do?
I have to detach of my mind.
Come here?
I have to detach of my mind.
I have to detach my mind. Who is the you that detaches from the mind?
Attention.
Huh?
With attention.
Madam, don't. Please, it's very, very serious. These things you can't just... Yes, sir?
If I accept the premise that it is possible to reject this enormous superstructure.
Don't assume any things.
No, I'm not assuming, but if I'm saying that if I accept the possibility that it can happen, that I can reject it, it seems to me that there's a lot of will involved.
I'm coming, that's right.
There's a tremendous amount of will involved in rejecting this.
I don't reject, sir. Do you reject? When you see danger, you move away from it, don't you?
Yes.
Huh? Because you see danger, you move away. You don't reject it. So, I build a wall against it, you move away.
So the danger is inside of me.
So I see.
I move away from myself.
So I see a danger, how the intellect with its extraordinary cunning thought has created all this from me, of which I am. And intellect alone cannot solve it. There must be action which will be whole, right? And it may be love. Huh?
No. Not to me.
What do you mean by that?
But I think you have to get out of it.
Do you?
I think I have. I have for myself. If I love.
And not if.
When I love.
And not when. You see how intellectually you are incapable of facing things.
Well, it's an intention anyway.
My intention is to go to heaven. I'm living in hell all the time. That's no intention has no place in this.
I think love is the absence of this self-centeredness.
Please, madam. Shall we try to find out by negating, not verbally, but actually in ourselves, what it is not? Right? Huh?
Not that.
Not theory. Am I capable of denying, not verbally, but actually in myself what it is not. Shall we do that? Huh? Will you do? So, when you say right, it means that you will wipe out from you that which is not love. You know what it means? Envy is not love. Right? Agree? You see And we are envious. Envy means measurement. Follow this. Envy says, you are better than I am. You have more than I have. You are more intellectual, more beautiful, lovely face. I am not. So where there is comparison, there must be conflict, imitation. Therefore, that's not love. Right? Do you compare? Do you follow, sir? Do you imitate anybody? Imitation is having an ideal. Right? So can you say, look, love may be the only solution for this world, right? And there must be, mind must cleanse itself of its envy. Can you do it? Can the mind do it? Mind being the whole thing, not just intellect. Can the mind wipe itself from its envy, measurement, comparison? Trying to become something?
Is that the primary question, or is the question of myself? Whether I am the creator of all of this?
No, which is envy is me.
Oh, yes.
Of course.
That is the question, is it me?
I'm only putting it around the other way, sir. That is.
But can't the world exist with love and envy and avarice and all the various other 9 deadly sins? Can't they all exist together?
Oh, can they?
They do exist, in fact.
That's all. They exist. And what has it produced?
Obviously, if one side gets it's a balance.
And
it's a balance. Life is a balance. If one side gets the upper hand.
Is love a balance? Between hate?
If we put love on this side and envy on this side.
No. Sir, that's purely intellectual. Is love hate? Can you balance hate and love all the time?
We do.
Therefore, what happens?
Things are not successful. If things are successful here, right?
So I'm asking, can the mind, please follow this little bit quiet, can the mind wipe away from itself all sense of envy, which is one of the aspects of the me? Right? Never to compare.
In our culture?
Huh?
In our culture, that's something we attempt, but it's reinforced on all sides.
Therefore, you have to reject the culture.
It seems to me that when you say, can we clear our minds completely of envy or comparison, that our tendency is generally to try to wipe it out.
I'm going to
rather than to perceive.
I'm going to go into that, sir. First, see what is implied in it. That is we are asked, we said, we may find out what love is by negating what is not love. We said envy is not obviously love. Obviously, so I say, what is envy? Envy is comparison. If I don't compare my house and my car, with yours, with better than mine, you follow? So can the mind put away envy without conflict? Follow this. Without time. You follow? If you say time, then thought comes in. I don't know if you follow all this. No, you don't.
What you suggest is, it seems to me, is to put yourself apart from what we generally call life.
But life is what we are living, which is violent, all the rest of it, economic. And we say, well, don't you want? Mustn't you put yourself outside it?
How?
I'm sure.
It seems to me it's not possible. It's not realistic.
I'll show you. I have to live in this world, not withdraw into a monastery. So I have to live in it and be out of it. And that's what we're going to find out. People around me, the civilization, the culture, the whole structure is based on one of the factors is envy. Right? Every car, new car, you follow? Envy. Now, can the mind put away without conflict, without time, without analysis? Go on, so. Because analysis implies analyzer and the analyzed, right? Which is division, therefore conflict. And in that there is imitation and conformity. I analyze and I say I must, you follow? So on. All that implies time. And in the meantime, till I'm being envious.
No, but I wouldn't like to be too technical and too analytical. But though, if we want to consider if we can live without envy, we must also ask where this envy comes from.
Oh, that's very simple.
And in our civilization, this envy is part of the consolidation of me as the idea of myself.
Of course, that's what we.
In India, it is, for instance, they have other kind of envy about how high I am in.
But envy is envy, whether it is a bigger house, bigger car, more beautiful, longer hair, shorter hair. You follow? Envy is envy, whether it's in India, in Alaska, in Moscow.
Consolidation of myself.
Which is me. We said that, sir, is part of me. Can you wipe that away from you, from the mind? Wipe itself away. Now, how is? Please follow the time analysis. If that is false, then what is it to do? You don't go.
If the me is whole, how can it be fragments?
Huh?
If the me is whole, how can
who says the me is whole?
But the me isn't whole, it's in fragments.
That's it. It's made up of many fragments.
Yes, exactly.
One of the fragments is envy.
Is it?
Huh?
Is it?
Isn't it?
Can you divide the me in fragments?
Isn't the me jealousy, envy?
That's names. That's names.
Huh?
That's names.
No. The names, the words used to indicate the quality, what is behind it. We said the word is not the thing.
You never can give me 1 pound of jealousy. I mean, it's just an idea. It's a name.
So it's just an idea. All right. I agree with you. The me is just an idea. Huh? Right?
We divide it for...
Wait, the me is just an idea. Right?
The divisions are...
Sir, the me is just an idea.
Of course.
Right. Then why do you give such importance to the idea? Don't say you don't. No, sir, please, either we talk very, very serious. Why do I give importance to an idea?
I would like to come back to what you were saying about how we could live without envy. So I said, well, if envy is rooted really in my psychology that I need this envy to build up what I am. So how am I can't build it up.
I will show it to you, sir. I will show it to you.
If I'm solid enough without that, so then there is no envy anymore.
I'll show it to you. You have certain conclusions. I haven't. You say, please, sir, we are starting to look. To look, you can't have any conclusions. Right? Now, I see one of the factors of the me is the result of the culture in which I have lived and so on, so on, so on, which is envy. The word is not the thing. The thing is the part of the me. The me is an idea which civilizations upon civilizations have cultivated. Now, can that part of me wiped away, put away, never come, never enter into field again?
May I ask a question about if we could, with our minds, eliminate envy from ourselves, because we would not allow comparison, is it not part of it then just as important not to compare or not to be compared? Because envy is a gift.
Is it?
Also, well, if, let's say love, since it's only if we say words, if love is an ability, on a premise, if it were an ability to see clearly, if we envy or we compare, it is also from without, not only from within. If we allow a situation in which we are compared, envy is then born within us as well. Does it not feed itself back and forth?
Madam, it is both within and without. Oh, my Lord, I have compared myself with you, and you compare yourself with somebody else.
But are we not always compare? I don't think we compare, but we allow others to compare.
I can't help what the others do.
Well, is that also not just as, in a way, preventative towards love, in allowing others to compare
I said, I am not talking about others. I am talking about you. Sitting there, I say, envy is envy part of love? And you all say it can't be. Right? Is that an idea or a fact? That means no envy at all. You know what it means to live beautifully? Well, no, we're going to.
I would be telling you a lie to say yes.
And is love pleasure? We're coming nearer home. Go on, so answer it. Not only sexual pleasure, pleasure of every kind, and the pursuit of it. Is love attachment? So I see love is not attachment. Attachment implies fear. Right? No? So fear is not love. Attachment is not love. Is love pleasure?
Not completely.
Huh? You're lovely people, you are. Lovely. You refuse to face reality.
Pleasurable.
I love you. And you don't love me, and I go through hell. Right? Is that love? But is love jealousy? But it gives me great pleasure to be jealous. You're mine. You mustn't belong to anybody. Without you, I'm lost. I'm lonely. I'm unhappy. I'm miserable. And I love you. Is that love? And don't say no.
May I ask you?
This is how you live. And the pursuit of pleasure. Right, sir?
May I ask you a question?
Huh?
May I ask you a very old question? Very old question. What do you suppose love to be that you want to know what it is?
I don't know what it is.
No, but I mean, why are we trying to find out?
Because
we suppose
wait,
love,
sir, I
love
said
is
to you,
something.
I said to you, it may be the one thing that may solve the whole problem.
We suppose that.
I said it may be. So I said to find what may be or may not be, mind must put away these things. So I see for myself, not you. I see for myself attachment of any kind is not love. But which doesn't mean that I'm irresponsible. You follow? You understand? I see for myself very clearly that pleasure is not love. So what does that mean? I do enjoy a lovely day. A lovely tree, a beautiful face. It is a pleasure, I enjoy. What's wrong with it? So the priests have said, don't look. Right? I don't know if you've found that. Don't look. Pick up the Bible and look. Right, sir? So, love is none of these things. And human beings like me and everybody else are caught in the things which are not love. And I say that may be the only answer which will reply to everything. Economic, society, social caste, everything from that center. There is no method, is there? Let's be clear on this. Method implies a system, a practice. I tell you, this way, if you do this, you will be free of envy. Then you listen to it. You think I have not envious, therefore you would like to achieve that state, therefore you will practice it. Right? I said, don't do it. See the impossibility of practice. That means time. That means the very practice is motivated by envy because you want to get there.
Sorry, excuse me, but I see a contradiction in the, perhaps it's not, and you can explain it to me. This process here seems to me takes time and is really quite intellectual when you say look and go from one point to another carefully and slowly. That takes time and a lot of thought.
Yes.
And it's not immediate.
No, but I'm going to show you the immediacy of it presently, so follow this. So don't follow, right? Right, sir? Don't follow anybody. Including me.
Don't follow teachers.
Primarily me. Because you are very easily influenceable. Right? So, move from there. So, why can you wipe away this traditional acceptance of practice? You follow, sir? Following a method. Can you wipe it away instantly? Because you see how false it is. Therefore, the seeing, when you see the false, you are seeing through intelligence. Right?
And also throwing away the non-method method.
But this is not a method. When I say method, means all method.
But one can see and not do. One can know better.
We're all in that mind. Now, then there is a problem arises. What do you mean by the word seeing? Intellectually seeing, verbally understanding, or actually seeing the microphone? So I come to the point. Seeing implies non-verbalization. Right? The word is the symbol, the image of thought. Right? Can the mind look at what it calls envy without the word and its implication, which is involved in the usage of that word, envy?
Right, you mean without judging? You mean without judging?
Without judging, without evaluating, without condemning, without justifying. All that's implied in observing.
Isn't that psychoanalysis?
No.
Oh, but for me, this is exactly psychoanalysis.
No, for you.
Yes.
Sir, I am saying no, and for you it is. Please see what I'm talking about. Don't stick to your point. Don't say it is psychoanalysis. I'm showing you, madam.
Sometimes you imply that psychoanalysis is something wrong.
No. Psychoanalysis. Listen, sir.
The seeing without judging is psychoanalysis.
Psychoanalysis means what it says. Psycho, self, analysis. Wait, sir. The words are please.
It's not
do you know what analysis, the root of the meaning of that word analysis means? To break up. To break up.
Don't stick to that word.
When you use the word, it is self-analysis, I say it is not. Therefore, I have to explain it. I say self-analysis implies analyzing the broken parts, the self-analyzing itself. The self, which is the me, which is the thought, analyzing, examining, looking at the broken parts, the analysis. That's how I'm using the dictionary meaning of that word.
This is wrong.
Wait, you see this.
It's a fact. Sometimes we have inherited of words which are not clear what it is.
I am saying it's not
right.
I am using the word, please, strictly, etymologically, according to the dictionary.
Exactly.
When I use the word intelligence, it is the dictionary meaning means, listen, sir, to keep alert and also leggere, which means to read between the lines. And please, sir, just listen. I am telling you something. Have the courage to listen, sir. I'm not telling you are incourteous, but just find out. To read intelligence means that. Now, I say to you, it is not through practice that you put away, which implies exercise of will. Will being, I'll explain what that word means. Will being a determination by thought to act in a this or that way. Right? This doesn't imply determination at all. Determination means building a wall against something. So, can the mind look without judgment, explanation, justification, condemnation? Don't say no.
I wonder if the problem doesn't exist because we want to answer you with yes or no,
Yes,
rather than to say, I don't know. and go
That's
from there.
all I'm trying to tell you, sir. Don't know. I don't know where this is leading.
Yes, exactly.
May I ask you whether you agree with my thinking that it would imply, if we do not judge any longer, that it would be imply to do completely away with the sense of values, with any value, and quality.
No.
You do not agree?
No.
With that? Because value is a thing.
So I'll come to that later.
Which is a judgment.
I'll come to that later. Can I look at myself? Can the mind look at itself? Can you look at me, or your friend, or your wife, without the image that you have built? That's all. Image being judgment, evaluation, condemnation, all the rest of it. Just look. So if you want to listen to somebody, you can't be chattering away, can you? Can you? If I want to listen to you, I can't be talking to the person next to me. I can't, if I want to listen to you, I must be free to listen, mustn't I? I must look at you, I must listen to you, I must care for what you are saying. Otherwise, I can't listen to you. So in the same way, can I look at something without judgment? Right, sir? Do it. Therefore, to see clearly, there must be freedom from conclusion. Now, listen to this, please, just listen. To see clearly, there must be freedom. Right? From condemnation, judgment, all the rest of it. The seeing in freedom is insight, isn't it? That is,
The seeing in freedom
is insight. Look, sir, just listen. Just listen. Don't try to understand me.
No, I try not to.
I said, if you want to listen to somebody, if your mind is, if you are talking to somebody, you can't listen. If you are chattering in yourself, you can't listen. Listening implies care, attention. And only then you can find out what the chap is saying, really, beyond words. And that means freedom to look, to listen. Freedom from prejudice, from conclusion. Now, that is an insight, isn't it? By Jove, I see that. That there, to look, there must be freedom. Right? And the look is an insight into conclusion, condemnation, judgment, which impedes freedom to look. That's an insight, isn't it? Now, what happens? Just listen to it. I have an insight there, and I draw a conclusion from it. I say, mind must not conclude to be free. You follow this? I have drawn a conclusion. I have drawn a conclusion that the mind must not have prejudices to be free. That's a conclusion. The scientists are doing this. They have an insight, and their culture makes them conclude and act from a conclusion. So can you look and therefore have an insight without ever drawing a conclusion? Oh, you...
That's living.
Huh?
That's living.
That is living, sir. You don't know what it all means. Come on.
Could you repeat your analysis?
Come here.
Could you more or less repeat what you said? I didn't follow what you said.
You didn't follow what I said? I'm sorry, I can't repeat it.
No, I didn't ask for the same words. It's just for the same concept.
What you were saying in the last 2 minutes.
2 minutes?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't repeat.
You were saying, excuse me, you were saying that...
Please tell her.
Yes, I'm not quite sure. But let's go where we were left. You were saying that when we see that the mind that is not free cannot make the communication, is a conclusion.
But seeing is not a conclusion.
Ah, bon, all right. That's what I want to...
Of course. And when you draw from that a conclusion, it prevents you from further seeing.
Yes, all right.
See,
Yes, right.
But seeing is a whole bunch of small conclusions. I am, by professional training, whether I'm good at it or bad, but my own profession requires me to constantly to see and to listen, hopefully without advanced prejudices, and most important, the real thing, without value judgments. No value judgments. But I do listen to you or listen to him or go and investigate something else and take all of these pieces and compare them with a great deal of past knowledge and make continuous tiny
That's a different matter.
Hopefully without value judgment.
No, sir.
I cannot perceive blue unless I know what red is, and blue and red and green and the forms of the spectrum.
That's a different matter, isn't it, sir? Look, I'll say mind has seen in the sense not verbally but actually, that conclusions in any form prevent perception. That's a fact, a burning fact to me. I have to act. I act from that intelligence, you follow? Not from a conclusion.
I don't follow that. I don't know where the fact and where the factor is often the conclusion begins.
So, I said, what is intelligence? According to the dictionary meaning, is to keep an alert mind and to interledger, able to read between the lines. Wait. I cannot read between the lines if I have any prejudices. Right? So intelligence is a mind without prejudice. Now it has to operate in the world. It has to put fact, as he explained, color, blue, red, white. So from intelligence it acts, not from a conclusion.
I think that part of intelligence is, I wouldn't draw a distinction between prejudice and conclusions.
They're all the same, prejudice, after all.
I see a difference between drawing a tentative conclusion towards being able to see more and having a prejudice which blocks my vision.
Any conclusion blocks a vision.
Even tentative.
What?
Even tentative.
Or tentative, obvious. Why should I have a tentative conclusion? When I'm looking, why should I make... You follow?
Because it becomes a technical tool, like being able to see red, like
But
language.
I said that, sir. I said a mind that has no conclusion is an intelligent mind. Right? That intelligence operates.
How is it operating? Is it operating by drawing those conclusions?
No. When conclusions are necessary, it uses and drops it. When it's not, I'm not going to tell you. Have that intelligence and you will see how it acts. It would be a conclusion on your part if you said, you follow? Intelligence will do this, that, and that, and that. So, let's come back.
Well, isn't the trouble is that different insights, there can be different insights.
No.
Can there be one insight for all?
Look, it's very simple. You and I have agreed, all of us have agreed to call this a microphone. Right? If you and I agreed, all of us agreed to call it an elephant, it's all right too. Right?
This is an agreement.
No. It's a verbal agreement about a fact.
Yes.
Now, to have an insight means that you and I see the same thing. Because if you have no prejudice, no conclusion, I have no prejudice, no conclusion, we must see the same thing. That is blue. Because you and I both have agreed to call that blue.
But your insight might be different than the insight of another person.
No.
And
If it is a real insight, it is not different.
If I'm not then I'm not going to have any separation from anything. Is that not so?
That's right. Because you don't see the beauty of this.
No, because if I follow in that, if your insight would have to be the identical with the insight, in that case, conflict would be eliminated automatically. In that case, there is no conflict any longer. Because only I accept conflict on the basis that one insight might be different from the insight of another, because after all, what is me and I, we don't know.
Oh, yes, I do. Oh, yes, we do.
Krishna teaches this is impossible.
Huh?
This is impossible, because if I show a piece of cheese to a dying man, it can't mean the same thing if I show the same piece of cheese to me.
Écoutez, you are not dying, are you?
No, but
I am talking to you, not to the dying man.
It's obvious. It's obvious. It depends what state we are.
No.
We can't see.
When you say please listen, sir. When you say your insight is different from mine or another, you have already divided the insight.
No, I've not divided the insight.
You have divided
people who are not...
My history, his history.
What was it? What were you saying, sir?
Well, that we do. Well, I say we do not know what we are. We cannot talk of a person because a person.
We're not dealing with that.
But
we can deal with that tomorrow.
If there was one insight in the world, if there could have been one insight, it would have been achieved. It could be achieved anyway, theoretically.
I'm not interested
what has been achieved is only that one insight has always been in conflict with another insight.
Sir, please just listen. If you and I have wiped away from us all evaluation, judgment, etc., etc., you must see the same thing as I see. Because then you are not separate from me. We are looking at the same thing.
But they're not identical.
When you say identical, it is separation.
But you know, we want to stay human. We don't want to change. We want to live within the realm of humanity. This is a separation.
Lazy.
You're very dangerous, sir.
Please go back to the meaning of love.
I said that, sir. Love is not envy, attachment, fear, jealousy. Can the mind wipe those things away from itself completely? Without any conflict, without time, which means now. You have been trained in time. That's why you find it difficult. Your culture says, take time, old boy. Gradually, don't rush at it. In the meantime, enjoy yourself killing. You follow? And I said, I want to find out. I want to see if there is beauty of love or not. To me, it's not tomorrow. I want, you follow? Like I am hungry. So I say, since all that is not, and is one of the most difficult things to understand, pleasure and fear, I have to find out what pleasure is, what fear is. Without understanding those two, I cannot possibly the mind cannot possibly come upon this thing called love.
Ask you about that word understanding and perhaps change it to word perceiving.
Call it what?
But there's a slight difference.
I've used that word perceiving. I'm fed up with that word. Therefore I've used it.
Understanding doesn't make any better.
So I'm concerned with pleasure and fear. When those two exist in me, there is no love.
Can one say that love unites and fear divides?
Oh, that's the truth. I don't want theories. I'm hungry. Give me food, not words.
Oh, yes.
But is this words? Is the question I've been asking, is that words?
I don't know. Find out. To find out, wipe the mind clear of all prejudice. So what is pleasure? I must find out. You mean say I cannot enjoy a lovely day? I cannot look at a marvelous sunset, see the beauty of a leaf. I enjoy it, looking at a sunset. I enjoy looking at the water. But mind then says, marvelous that water, that piece of water with the light of the sunshine, the beauty of it, the calmness, the colors. At that moment I am tremendously with it. Next moment, thought comes in and says, "Oh, what a lovely time that was. I must have more of it." Now, that is the pursuit of pleasure. If I don't have more of it, I get angry, frightened. So you have it. So, to understand what love is, there must be the understanding or the perception or seeing the structure and nature of thought. So thought is not love, obviously. And all our relationships are based on thought.
May I ask you one question? Why do you personally use words, I mean the form of a talk, to convey a certain thing which we call love now? Why is this form...
Now wait a minute. Communication implies not only verbal, sharing together. That's really the meaning of that word, means to share, to think together. Create together, live together. That's the whole meaning of that word, communication. Now, I communicate to you in English, verbally, because that's the language you understand, the language I understand. Now, after I convey these things verbally, but much more deeply, not the words, but the depth of it.
But still, why do you use the philosophical lingo?
What is the philosophical lingo?
That's what we've been using now. During these 2 hours.
Just ordinary words. Pleasure is an ordinary word. Love is an ordinary word. I am afraid. I am attached to you.
But, let's say we could have been sitting silently, we could have been singing, we could have been making a walk.
I have done that
a lot
too.
of things.
I have done that too. You can't walk with 50 people. You can't, if I walked with one, the 50 will say, "What the hell are you doing? Why don't you also walk with me?"
I'm
right?
just asking.
I'm telling you, sir. So this goes on. And it's simpler to talk like this. And wait a minute. The verbal communication is necessary as long as the conscious mind is active. Right? Whether you can listen unconsciously is another matter. I don't know if you ever tried this. Because the deeper layers of the conscious is much more active, much more sensitive, not so habitual, it's more pliable, more quick, more alive.
Because the danger could be that this...
That's why I say...
philosophical lingo would be taken as the aim and, breed further
of course, that's why,
and philosophy being its own subject.
That's why I use, if I may point out for myself, very simple words. And English is marvelous in simple words.
All words are not second-hand only. They've gone through millions.
Which is second-hand. It may be 1,000 years of second-hand.
That's the trouble, that words have gone through so many hands, whilst following you, as you say, taking this in, beyond the words.
But
that I follow you.
That's very difficult, sir.
Yes, but there I follow you. That I would... But then the words already divide us, because the word of love, for instance, will already have a different meaning for you than it may have had for Plato, for instance, or for other people.
I don't know anything about Plato.
Certainly, but he is the man who actually has, and he's, I should say, a first-hand man for the word of love in our sense. He has created really a word of love in this complete sense, which then has come
Oh
from
no,
many,
sir.
many.
Oh no, Aristotle wasn't the only bird. There
certainly not.
there were previous
He
to
was one of the
Aristotle.
first birds.
Just a minute, sir. There were previous to Aristotle in the Indian history, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000. Because I'm talking about love. There is a marvelous thing talking
Certainly,
about
I'm
love.
talking about our civilization and about
I know.
how our mind is
I know.
working.
I know.
And that is the trouble.
So, sir, please, can you put away all your second-hand knowledge and look?
This gentleman was asking you why you were speaking, why you use speaking to pose these questions with us. Can we assume, therefore, that you're asking the question as well, and to look at it in that light rather than to seeing you
Yes, that's
an
right.
answer?
Quite right.
And that this is in our relationship with one another, as we relate to whoever is with us, with the words, with the same,
So
same attention.
look, I can have relationship with you if I stayed here for the next 10 years, or 10 days, or next month. You can communicate and walk together, you know? Yeah, at one level. But fortunately, I'm going to on Sunday.
So we have a relationship now.
That's all.
Any difference with you?
That's all.
Bon.
Now, but the danger is that we have in our civilization, like you say it, and also in Indian actually.
All
we have a big
civilizations are
tendency
muck.
to intellectualize.
That's it.
We want to believe him. We want to believe him.
I am nobody to believe.
We have a big tendency to that. So if we come in a talk, and if we start arguing and having ideas and counter ideas, we might go on. And this is what you want to stop. That's why I ask, why do you use this technique of talking instead of, let's say, sitting or walking or playing?
I'll tell you, sir.
Playing with a ball or whatever.
I have told you.
Like
I
that.
have told you. I talk for the simple reason, for myself, I'm not talking for you. Because I have something to say. Like a flower, there's something. It doesn't say, I am talking, you must listen. It has got its own perfume. If you want to smell it, take it home with you, go. If you don't, it's all right, it exists for itself. And because it loves communicating. That's all. But if it doesn't communicate, it's all right too. So we have tried so many things. I've been talking since the age of 15. And we have tried so many things. Little groups, big groups, walking, talking, camp, everything. And unfortunately, each one goes away with something which he wants. Not real. I think that's enough, isn't it?